Last month, consumer prices in Germany were 3.8% above the level of the same month last year, the latest data from the Federal Statistical Office has revealed. This is the highest level since December 1993, where it had jumped to 4.3%. In June, the inflation rate was down at 2.3%. The latest figures will come as a huge worry to the European Union, as Germany is home to the bloc's largest economy. The huge jump in the latest inflation rate has been largely driven by rising energy prices, which increased by 11.6%. Following the start of the COVID pandemic early last year, crude oil prices plummeted because of the low demand on the global market. But world economies continue to bounce back from the pandemic, those prices are quickly recovering. In July, the price of heating oil had surged by more than 50% compared to the same month a year ago. Petrol was also significantly more expensive, with prices jumping by 24.7%. Without taking energy products into account, the inflation rate would have been just 2.9% in July, almost down by a full percentage point. Also last month, food prices were also on the increase, with consumers having to pay 4.3% for their items. Another key driver behind the huge surge in interest rates can also be attributed to the so-called base effect. The federal government in Germany had reduced VAT for 6 months between July 1, 2020 until December 31, 2020 in order to stimulate consumption at the peak of the COVID pandemic. It means the normal rates of VAT have been in place since the start of this year, which has consequently driven up the prices of goods and services. This has triggered fears inflation will continue to rise over the coming months. Earlier this week, a leading economist claimed Germany's economic success during recent years had been down to luck rather than design. Marcel Fratscher, who is president of the German Institute for Economic Research, believes Germany's economic model is now increasingly holding back our competitiveness and prosperity. The expert claimed that with Chancellor Angela Merkel leaving her post next month after 16 years, the EU powerhouse is now at a crossroads. He warned that the perception the country's successes over the past decade were the result of good politics is a dangerous illusion. Writing in German newspaper Die Zeit, Mr. Fratscher said, "It was the result of luck. German companies were able to benefit more than others from the export boom in the rapidly growing emerging markets of Asia. And they benefited from the employment miracle, which brought more than 3 million additional people into the German labor market, primarily through the immigration of young, highly motivated Europeans and the increasing employment of very well-qualified women." The most important contribution of the economic policy of the 4 governments of Angela Merkel was not the active support of the economic situation, but the securing of stability and a remarkably successful handling of the 4 major crises during this period, the global financial crisis and the European economic crisis between 2008 and 2012, the high immigration of refugees from 2015 and the corona pandemic. In doing so, the Chancellor usually showed excellent intuition to say and do the right thing at the right moment, thereby creating trust and ensuring stability, not only for Germany, but also for Europe.